Right then, we're back on there. Now, I apologise. Basically, right, actually at the end of the stream, changing tab, I let my PC right was lagging a bit. Dragged my mouse cursor, I clicked. It went to stop broadcast. I didn't click anything, but accidentally went off there. Right, so I apologise. So we're back on there. I'm gonna put a link to the tweet in there. And so basically, I'm subject to part one, part two. Why not? So I'm gonna basically, if anyone's here, I'm basically gonna spread the links around for the hangout. I do also apologise for accidentally ending the other one. It was my mistake. Alright, so I give it to him. Apparently. So bear with me. I'm going over some articles, discuss some more issues. Get John Cooper back in. There you go. Link. Put link in the bullet club. And I put a link to the stream itself. Right, Angels. In terms of the new link, but bear with me a minute. I'll try it and just try and move. I'm trying to multitask already. Give everyone links again.
That's it.
But I won't. Right. Prime me the link on Twitter. Now and then I put a dummy account in shortly. Yeah, I put my Hancock in. Alright.
Okay, I'm here, Cameron. Let's see. Yeah. Sorry, everyone. Let's see. We accidentally Cameron pressed the wrong button, so we just took a little break to set up for this new one.
Yeah.
Oh, New Left Voice is in the thing. Hello, New Left Voice. Would you like to join us?
Yeah, he's got a link to access.
Oh, yeah. His computer's still not working.
In a group chat on Twitter.
Let's see, we've currently got 5 people watching. I assume that's me, Angel, New Left Voice, and 2 others. I'm not sure who they are. That's all I can. Hello.
Let's get up.
Oh, Stephen Owens. I wonder if he'll join us. Oh, Oliver.
Busy. I don't think it will.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I can put a dummy count in now. So
okay.
If you get a link to the new bullet club, I can put that count in.
Okay.
Angels, if you are still there.
Oh boy. Let's see. So, should we move to one of the 2 articles we were?
Yeah. Just a second. I'm gonna open the new book hangout and put a dummy count in. Now, as soon as I've done that, right, I'll get this article.
Oh, by the way, Andrew says I also joined straight after dinner, and yeah, I messaged you on Twitter. Okay.
Yeah, I see it. Yep.
All right, so we just have to wait a bit. Okay, Angels. I'm not sure how big your dinner is, but hopefully you'll be here soon. Fair enough. Anyway, so
I'm sure it'll be huge. Right. Right. I can share a new article now.
Okay.
For the smart box we were talking about before, I accidentally ended the last stream. So
okay.
I have to be careful now. Very careful.
I think the two sheets, there's two witty articles I sent. One was about Palestine, and one was about friends of Israel from Labour. But
This is just a small box. This is a poor Corbyn blog, basically.
oh yeah.
If you don't know what it is.
So in other words, it's the extreme socialist commie little blog.
For exclusive and for North members to vote on no comments vote in Ryan this week. Firstly, is anyone North near Liverpool? Well, I think it is.
Mhm.
What's too short? Look at postcode. Oh, that's good information. Anyway, I'll take that anyway. This is a right.
Let's see. Oh yeah, you need.
This is a top letter, so I'll read the letter.
Okay.
So this is from
Let's see, dear resident. I know from
yeah,
speaking. So, do you want me to read it, or do you want to read it?
you can read it. Well, first, this is a letter in 2017 about Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not recent. You can read it. If you want.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Oh yeah, and this is when she was trying to oust. I take it this is when she was trying to help oust him.
Oh no, this is in 2017. This is after.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, my mistake. Sorry, I should have. I need to read better.
Yes, alright. Dear resident,
Okay.
I know from speaking to people around here that many who previously with Labour are thinking this hard time because they tell me that more comments in choosing me as parents than having Jeremy Corbyn. The poll is saying that the Conservative Party with a large majority, possibly more MPs than it had before. Nonsense.
Ooh, Stephen has arrived.
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Oh,
Wonderful. We got more people on and more people to talk to. Let's see. That's great because I was finding it hard. I was finding hard to find new things to say. But anyway.
yeah.
I was going to say, is my microphone okay?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
It's fine.
Good, good.
Anyway, we're just getting into this article which I'd sent during the bullet chat just as we were literally ending it, and Angel said breaking news on a cliffhanger, so I thought we'd talk about it here.
Yeah. Labour MP and Labour President Israel, L5 Chair John Ryan, has been among the most vocal with the Labour Party in relation to ongoing attempts to paint the party as anti-Semitic. She recently made a series of lurid claims and accusations to the Jewish Chronicle that provoked outrage by acting as an apologist for Israel's slaughter of unarmed Palestinians in Gaza in May.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
So this is not surprising.
Oh yeah.
I don't think any it doesn't matter what you think on an issue. I don't think any MP should join any other organisation that is effectively a lobby organisation of another nation state.
Oh yeah. Honestly, let's see. I do feel like let's see. I wouldn't really trust any politician, regardless. Let's see if they're being funded by money from other countries, regardless of which country it is, be it Israel, Russia, or even some countries from Europe, I guess, or Middle East, or whatever in the world, or even America, because I feel that it will have let's see, because I will feel like the money donated to those politicians make them have a conflict of interest between the interests of the people they're supposed to represent and the interests of the countries they're being funded by. But go on.
Yeah. Also, you also need to remember that if this article, remember, is biased towards Paul Corbyn, you're not going to get their side in this.
Yeah, it's possibly the world's most unbalanced piece of journalism, but you know,
Yeah,
I think with Joan Ryan, I mean, if we look at the image there, which is of that election letter, I mean, it says, "Dear residents, I know from speaking to people around here that many who have previously voted Labour are thinking hard this time because they tell me they have more confidence in Theresa May as PM than they would have in Jeremy Corbyn." So it's like, well, I mean, if you're saying that and you're a Labour MP, I mean, it's kind of hard to see how you can remain in the party.
Oh yeah, I mean, because
really,
regardless of who your leader is, you should be trying to make sure the party can win as much as possible.
Yeah.
If you don't think the party leader can win, try to at least get enough people to vote so that the Conservatives don't get a massive majority and undermine the party in the future.
Yes.
I mean, because if you at least lose only a few seats, it's still better than losing like a massive 50 or 40 or 30 or even 100, because it will take, let's see, quite a few elections before you can recover and get back into government again.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's quite a it really says something about that MP. They're doing something like that.
I mean, look at the Conservatives, for example. Even it took them after the defeat in 1997, it took them 4 elections to get, let's see, even a slim majority.
And that's within a party that, generally speaking, which is one of the things I actually will, although admittedly right now it doesn't work because we're supporting a crap, well, not we are, but the Conservative Party is supporting a crap leader. But, you know, it's one thing I will give them is they are very consistent in having a unified stance, which is more than you can say for Labour, generally.
Oh, yeah, that has been one of Labour's problems, that there's always a bit of infighting with what direction between left, right, or centre.
Also, very interestingly, just to talk about Joan Ryan, she has a record of treachery.
Oh.
Because she called for a leadership election to replace Gordon Brown when he was Labour Party, when he was PM, in fact, and she was, as a result, fired as vice chair of the Labour Party and the PM's envoy to Cyprus. So she's got a record of it.
Fair enough. I wonder if Gordon Brown removed her from the party. I wonder if he would have been called an anti-Semite.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really related to it, but it was just. I mean, she was literally calling publicly in the same way as this to replace Oswald, or just a very kind of public critique of the leader. And it's like, well, if you're in an association which has a democratically elected leader, then you shouldn't really be in that association if you're critiquing the leader vocally in public. I mean, I don't really.
I don't even think, despite everyone saying Corbyn being such a rebel, I don't think he ever attempted to undermine the party, even when he disagreed with it. At least,
not to the extent these people. But the argument that Corbyn voted against the party more than any other MP, but he's systematically undermining it. Like these people are.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there is a little bit of a difference with this in that what was happening there was he was part of a tiny, tiny amount of people, and also there is a key difference as well between Joan Ryan and say Joan Ryan or someone like Chuka Umunna or Frank Field or whatever else, is that all of these people easily have a party they could join. Jeremy Corbyn didn't really.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there wasn't really. I mean, you know, there wasn't really a party that was consistently left, other than the Greens, who were left of Labour.
Oh yeah.
It's very different, really.
And with the SNP, they're Scottish. You have to be in Scotland for them, unfortunately, if you want to
Exactly, yeah. So you're seriously limited.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Well, also, although they've made an error on Wikipedia, in the desperation to rush out the the bit about Joan Ryan. It says 2019, no confidence motion, and then says on the 2nd of September 2009. So there we go.
Let's see, is this an Wikipedia page or?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page just because I don't really know about her.
Unfortunate mistake like that. Common.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, I guess that's why universities say not to use Wikipedia as a source of information.
But what you do is use it. You look at the article, right? You read it for it as a base. You don't use it. Then you look at the footnotes on the bottom, and you go to them.
Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah.
Anyway, more in the article, and now it seems the local Labour members, or at least a significant number of them, have had enough. The Swalker box can reveal that the detailed motion of no confidence has been submitted and incubated on the agenda for this Thursday's all-members meeting, accusing her of smears, making false allegations, and of inflaming a trial by media of Corbyn, and decries her behaviour during the 2017 general election campaign, stating that she acted as an independent in all but name. The motion includes examples of behaviour in which members object, a statement from Joan Fitzpatrick, whom Ryan was seen wrongly accusing of anti-Semitism in Al Jazeera's documentary, The Lobby.
That was about they was from Israel. I watched that.
Okay.
So I think this is the motion.
Oh yeah. You're gonna have to probably zoom in a little bit because I can't quite read it.
Yeah, I can just about, but not. I don't know anyone else who can read this necessarily.
Yeah. Oops, you've gone a bit.
Is this fine now?
We can read it.
Alright. Motion. This CRP is committed to identifying and fighting all forms of racism, discrimination, and bigotry, which include anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and racism against Black, Asian, and other minorities, and we call these out. We call these abhorrent and dangerous ideas, which will affect our life and limb, and are a challenge to our social values and our working class unity. This CRP upholds and supports the right to all men to make complaint, using the correct complaint procedure. We do not, however, support the lack of due process in dealing with serious matters. We condemn going to hostile press and social media, rather than using the internal Labour structures when dealing with concerns. All Labour MP, on multiple occasions, has contributed and written articles that seize upon a press unjustly hostile to Jeremy Corbyn. By doing so, OMP has made his character without having the right to a fair and balanced defence. She has viewed and indeed invalidated trial by media, as demonstrated by the following articles. Here you go. Right, this is the first one. Jeremy Corbyn appalls me, and his behaviour will get no better. Chair of the LFI said the party's leader is not interested in Middle East peace. And doesn't mean terrorists with blood on their hands. More,
Oh yeah, I think this is page screenshot of like.
I mean, let's start on this. Firstly, nobody complained about Tuesday meeting the Saudi prince.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing.
Stephen, talk.
Yeah, right. I'll just say that there's the only thing I would say on that, although I don't necessarily think it's particularly wrong what Jeremy Corbyn's been doing, because it's, the purpose is, of meeting terrorists isn't, innately because you support them. It's that there is a difference between Jeremy Corbyn doing it and the British government doing it, which is the British government is doing it on the behalf of the United Kingdom, for some reason of realpolitik. Whereas Jeremy Corbyn is doing it for as only as an MP rather than as a member of the government. Is all I would say. That's the only distinction I would make.
Okay.
Well, he's an MP and he's in opposition, which means he's not empowered to do anything significantly harmful. Which means it is.
Well, of course, but there is a difference in how they are. Yeah. In what their role is going there. As I say, I don't think Jeremy Corbyn was doing it for malign intentions, so I don't really find it.
You don't think he was doing it for malign intentions? I'm sorry, go on.
Well, yeah, I don't think it was for bad reasons that he was.
Oh yeah.
Going to.
I mean, I sincerely doubt Corbyn is plotting to kill mass amounts of British people, anything like that. I mean, let's see.
Well, you never know. He is Hitler after all.
That's survived. Let's see. That's great. Let's see. Is there any questions on the stream? Not at the moment.
Oh yeah, I had to calm down about particular person.
But anyway, you're in time to give your thoughts on let's see this article.
What's the article about? Give me a brief rundown.
It's about it's a vote. It's an article talking about how there's been a motion of no confidence by the CRP for Joan Ryan, the leader of the Friends of Israel in the Labour lobby.
Oh right, yeah, I know about her. She's an awful politician and an awful human being.
Oh yeah.
Would you mind reading this out and going for it? This part for 2 minutes. Sorry.
What did he say?
Let's see. He's asking one of us to read this article. This is some bits I think of separate articles about. Let's see, Joe Ryan's criticism of Corbyn and anti-Semitism. For example, the Jewish 1st of August, 2018. Joe Ryan, the Labour MP and chairwoman of the Labour Friends of Israel, demanded an investigation into Mr. Corbyn's comments, abhorrent that the leader of the Labour Party would ever welcome the release of such a depraved terrorist, she told The Times. The Times, 2nd of August, 2018. Our MP has tweeted her allegations of anti-Semitism against the Labour Party. This is not conducive to the due process. We believe our MPs has acted against decency, fairness, and natural justice and brought her office and her party into dispute. Let's see. And there's a party that seemingly has no problem with anti-Semitism, sad and shaming. Let's see. And then it's from, I think it's either a tweet or a from Ian Austin. This really is shocking. The Labour Party is having to argue about where the Munchi terrorists are buried and where the terrorists who masterminded the attack are buried. What have we become? Oh, okay, so it's another. So she's retweeting.
Yeah, it's related to the Munich terrorists issue.
Reefgate.
Oh yeah,
That's the
I heard that the terrorists were buried in Libya or something.
Yeah,
At least.
well, yeah, the people who are buried are a little bit more of a contentious case because they were killed by Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, and there is a question over how much they were involved with Black September attacks. Yeah, so it could theoretically be that he laid a wreath for some people who are terrorists, but we don't actually know, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the thing about a lot of these Corbyn smears is a huge amount of it is just guilt by association anyway.
Well, yes, that was... I mean, it's just one of those things where, I'm not really a natural supporter of Corbyn, but it's kind of hard not to defend him for some of these things. It's like, well, it's just kind of... I mean, aside from the fact also the people who are doing it I don't like as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which also doesn't give me any incentive to be pro.
I don't see how Corbyn sharing a platform with someone means he endorses everything that person has done.
Yeah,
this is like saying that because you went to school with Anders Behring Breivik years back, that means you're a neo-Nazi terrorist. It's an absurd comparison.
You can even argue that every political leader that has had a meeting with Trump does not mean they agree with everything Trump does, or even Vladimir Putin, for an example.
In
1981, a certain prime minister went to Afghanistan to call Margaret Thatcher. She went and meet the leaders of an organization called the Mujahideen. One of the people she met was Osama bin Laden. Now, is Margaret Thatcher guilty by association?
By that logic, yes, we will have to say...
You can have John Major and Tony Blair meeting up with Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness.
Yes, indeed.
I guess they're terrorist sympathizers, as our ridiculous media likes to point them out to be, or paint them to be.
And, so basically, in conclusion on Joan Ryan, it's completely fair they're having a vote of no confidence in her. it's completely understandable that people within the Labour Party want her out of the Labour Party because she's deliberately undermining the Labour Party's ability to win an election.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I can't see the issue here.
Oh, yeah.
It seems completely fair, really.
Exactly, yeah. It's entirely fair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, trot, fucking, oh, what's the other thing they say? Oh, yeah,
Stalinist purge.
Stalinist purge, militant infiltrators, bad people.
Oh, God.
Well, honestly, to be fair, let's see. If the let's see, if it. Hold on, let me just think what I was going to say. Oh yeah. Let's see if
You gotta
the.
feel sorry. I mean, you gotta feel for Corbyn, though. He must be the slickest guy in the world because he is simultaneously and at all times a traitor, a terrorist sympathizer, a trot, a Stalinist, a Maoist, a hater of Britain. He works for the IRA. He works for Hamas. He works for Hezbollah. He works for Vladimir Putin. He's Russian spy. I mean, you got to feel sorry for the man. He does all these different jobs and different roles. It must be stressful for the guy.
Indeed.
Let's see. Honestly, it's just let's see. I'm still amazed how anyone can believe the smears at this point, because I'm a bit just surprised that people seem to really buy into this whole anti-Semitism thing. Not saying it's not a problem. I mean, there is a problem, but it's probably minor at best or worst. Let's see how you phrase it. But let's see. They seem to like when it came to all the other smears. It seems like they found them all a bit ridiculous, particularly this year, like the Czech and commie spy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely convinced there's too many of them that there's really much evidence that people do actually believe. I mean, I don't, it doesn't seem to make too much difference. I mean, the polls about Jeremy Corbyn not being seen as good of a kind of candidate for prime minister as Theresa May have been the case for months and months. Before a lot of these scandals really took root. So I don't really quite. That's the main big negative thing. I mean, what seems to otherwise happen is loads of people seem to join the Labour Party.
Mm-hmm.
The polls broadly don't change, and people, and kind of there's sort of the exact same people say the exact same things over and over again.
Let's see. Even Angels has said, even as a centre ground voter and Corbyn skeptic, see that these smears are largely fucking ridiculous.
Well, exactly.
For desperation at this point. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think even Thatcher herself said, if you can't argue if you got reduced to name calling, you've lost the argument.
By the way, I just want to quickly say, in the side chat earlier today on the Sunday stream, there was an account on there called Jeremy Corbyn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I promise you, that's not me.
I'm surprised that I'm surprised Captain Switzerland didn't mention it, but but funny enough, it ended up being an argument between Jeremy Corbyn and Jess Phillips.
No, it was
Right, Jess Phillips was me, but Jeremy Corbyn wasn't. Right, I think it's Average Joe again. He was Eric Pickles.
Fair enough.
Oh boy.
Let's see. Well shafted. Let's see. Let's not go there.
Well shafted.
Yeah, he says, "Cause you're the biggest Tory shells." Oh.
Oh, it's not in reference to us. It's in reference to Angels and James.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. That's a debate that should be left to those people people alone. Let's not get involved in it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry, my mistake. But yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Let's see. I am curious. Let's see if she is going to get a vote of no confidence in her constituency. I'm partly wondering, is she planning on leaving before it happens, or will she stay around?
Knowing the way this is probably going to be spun by the totally fair and impartial media that we have in this country, it's probably going to be spun as, oh, look at this, Corbyn's getting rid of all the Jews. It shows he's an anti-Semite.
Honestly, it seems like, let's see. I'm not sure how Corbyn can tackle this. At least, I suppose the best way he could do is probably find someone Jewish that can at least agrees with him. But I'm not really sure that would work because it's like, boo, wrong Jew. Let's see. Don't take that out of context, please.
They would say something along the lines of It's like this is the funny thing, right? The people on the right of the Labour Party who say, "Oh, we're all fucking trots, and all the trots are anti-Semite," and it's like, as we said in the Sunday stream, Trotsky was Jewish. But the response to that's probably going to be, "Oh, well, he was a self-hating Jew, or he was the wrong kind of Jew," because as we know, the only legitimate Jews are right-wing extreme Zionists.
Oh yeah.
That's the
Also,
only real Jews.
some other fun facts on Joan Ryan that are on the Wikipedia page. I mean, I'm not much of a connoisseur, but in October 2007, the Evening Standard reported that Joan Ryan claimed £173,691 in expenses for the 2006-2007 tax year, the highest for any MP. So she also seems to have ludicrous amounts of expenses.
All right, fair enough. So she's also corrupt. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. So she's because the other thing, Tom, that was mentioned before you turned up is she's already previously rebelled against a leader. She tried to get Tony Blair, not Tony Blair, Gordon Brown replaced as Labour leader,
Uh-huh.
for which she was sacked from the
All
cabinet.
right. So these people who say, "Oh, they had perfectly legitimate reasons to get rid of Corbyn," these were the same people who have ousted Gordon Brown as well.
Tom Watson also tried it with Gordon Brown.
Mhm.
So a number of them did, and it's quite amusing that these people can kind of, it is rather amusing really. They just kind of do it all the time.
So they basically they hate anybody who is not a third way politician.
Yeah, they don't dislike anyone who isn't quite close enough to Blair. I mean,
Pretty much.
yes, it is rather ridiculous.
Even Gordon Brown, who was just basically a watered down centre left modern liberal, was basically a trot to these people, which shows you how right wing they are.
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't really want a right wingers in your party, really, because unless you're in like a right wing party, but not in a left wing party. I mean, I know people say broad church Labour is, but it's clear that those on the right don't believe that stuff.
It also it does depend on who we're talking about. We're talking about the right within the Labour Party. I mean, I wouldn't say that most of the Blairites are right wing, because I think their perspective is distinctly left wing. They just accept a lot of right wing economics.
Okay.
Oh yeah, when I say right, go on.
But interestingly enough, there are people I do think are right wing who are, for instance, the Blue Labour. Who often, I mean, some aren't. Like, I can't remember who was you mentioned, Paul Embry, as on Twitter as being someone who is pretty much who calls himself a socialist. So evidently is not, if he is advocating for socialism. But people like Frank Field, you could kind of say are Blue Labour, but they were, and they are, I would say, a conservative movement within the Labour Party, which sounds odd, but I think.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, when I say right-wing Labour MPs or the Labour right, I'm saying that they're right-wing in the context of the Labour Party. On the spectrum, like the political spectrum, they're probably either centrist or arguably some of them centre-right, but within the Labour Party, they're right-wing. Much in the same way how Soubry is liberal within the Tory party, but she's centre right on the political spectrum.
Okay, yes, I see.
Fair enough. Let's see. Fair enough, but yeah. But honestly, yeah. Let's see. It's clear that these, MPs, won't be satisfied unless they have anyone that's kind of like Tony Blair. In fact, they'd probably have Tony Blair back in a heartbeat if they could.
Well, yes, there's a lot of them.
I think I remember hearing it was like a New Year's Eve party that took place at the end of 2016, and you had all of these scumbag Labour MPs, and this was just basically pure workplace bullying. I think that Jess Phillips was there as well, chanting, "We want Tony, we want Tony." And I think they gave Corbyn a cake which had a P45 written inside of it. You're just basically your standard workplace bullying is what they were doing.
Honestly, if it was any other workplace, I'm pretty certain they would be sacked by the boss for doing
Well,
that.
this is what I mean. If they were to conduct themselves in the way they've conducted themselves in any other job, they would have been sacked a hell of a long time ago. But for some reason, Corbyn doesn't sack them despite their ridiculous antics.
I think it's mainly about kind of looking at things in a short-term sense. I presume because it's about, well, okay, if we can't stop the government on certain votes because we've lost these MPs, then what are we truly to be able to do?
I understand that perspective, but I would say because these people constantly vote with the Tories on certain policies, especially when it comes to things like the EEA amendment, and vote against the party whip, is it really a loss getting rid of them? Because they vote against the
Fair
leadership
point.
and the whip all the time, well, most of the time anyway, so it's not too much of a loss.
Yeah, honestly, I do think one of Corbyn's problems as a leader, at least, is that sometimes he can be too nice or a bit too forgiving, if that makes sense.
Well, this is why I've said before that I wanted John McDonnell to be the leader, because McDonnell is decisive in his viewpoint. He wouldn't tolerate the fifth column causing trouble like they have done. He would have kicked them out a long time ago, either through deselection or just withdrawing the whip. With Corbyn, because he's too nice and because, essentially, because he's too nice and not really decisive, he lets them play around and do their antics, despite the fact it does loads of damage to the Labour Party.
Honestly, I do think he needs to grow a bit of a backbone, and he's at least starting to, at least. I mean, the Netanyahu tweet thing was like a sign, but he needs to go further.
If there's one thing I'll agree with Angels on, and I don't usually agree with her on much, it's that Corbyn has not been decisive enough as leader of the party.
I don't know what's stopping him, really, but I know.
Yeah. I got another. Can sit. Hopefully, can. So I got another article that I wanted to go through.
Let's see. I am hoping that. Let's see. Anyway, before you go on the.
It was one of the ones you sent me.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's go back to Parliament. I hope. Let's see if John Woodcock starts criticising again. I want. Let's see Corbyn to point out how you tried to say you would not support me while still being a Labour MP, but at the end of near the end of the election, you came running and begging the Labour headquarters to send campaigners to make sure you still get a seat. I want him to be completely. Let's see. I want him to be completely harsh and aggressive against all those that have left the party, but who knows?
Well, the thing about it is I've heard that Woodcock was very close to losing his seat in whatever constituency it was. I think it's somewhere up in the north, and it had to be flooded with Momentum activists just to save it. Because if they didn't go there, he could have very well lost his seat. And part of me feels like I wish he had lost his seat. Yes, it would have reduced Labour's numbers in the House of Commons, but at the end of the day, he's a fucking Tory anyway, so it don't make too much of a difference.
The thing about Woodcock, the Tories actually don't like him. Actually, so
I've just about to say that I've been saying over the last few days that I'd actually quite like Frank Field in the Labour Party and in the Tory Party.
he was in the Tory Party in the past.
Yeah, but back again, because I don't actually have that much of an issue with an MP. He's just,
Oh, look at this, Cameron. You've got a one-up over Captain Switzerland. You've got Theresa May in the side chat.
Right. This is interesting because in the stream a few weeks ago, Theresa May was in the side chat. So I'm trying to think that who was Theresa May. Like, everybody assumes these counts are all me, but it's not. Jerry Cole wasn't me. Theresa May wasn't me. We know Pickles was definitely Average Joe. So I think Average Joe is lurking. as Theresa May.
Let's see. Oh, I'm just taking a look in the comments. Okay.
Oh.
It seems like, let's see. I mean, he was agreeing with what we were saying earlier, Thomas. Let's see. Corbyn is nice to everyone because he's abiding by Christian values. Okay, what? Let's see. And just another question, Theresa May. The real question is, has anything changed?
Anti-wet action.
And Theresa May says, "Hello, Stephen. I am strong and stable Prime Minister. I deserve some respect. Nothing."
I did also. The first response I gave was "Get out, you wet." So.
And then it's got anti-wet action.
Anyway, let's read the article now.
Could be Captain Swiss getting eventually. Trying streams as hung.
I'm just reading through some of
As a passing.
I'll read through the Theresa May comments. Nothing has changed.
Oh.
Praise the Lord Jesus. That's it, Stephen. You will be deported to one of my tax havens. Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, go on, read the article.
Yeah. As a passing MPs in Israel, we salute Corbyn as a champion of peace and justice. With the Netanyahu government ramping up the racism, our struggle for survival is more precious than ever. Passing MPs in the how do I say that now? Knesset commend Jeremy Corbyn.
Angels is here.
Oh yes, I'm here now. See, I wasn't
Hello.
clever. Well,
Yeah. For
ended.
his long-standing solidarity with all oppressed peoples around the world.
We've got Theresa May obviously in the side chat, as I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been reading out some of her comments. She's now going to get Stephen and deport him to a tax haven.
I called her a wet a few too many times, I think.
I promise you, it's not me.
She has also reminded us that nothing has changed.
Because let's be honest, nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed, no. So, you know.
The question is,
honour and a privilege to have our current Prime Minister in the side chat.
it is. It's a very unique experience.
Yes,
Mr. Captain Swiss. That's Theresa May, obviously.
It's good to have one of our worst Prime Ministers since World War II in the side chat.
Let's see. The only thing I could think of that could probably top this if Donald Trump somehow appeared.
Don't
I think we need Hancock in there.
Yeah, there's going to be a fucking Donald Trump account that's going to appear at some point in the future now. You've done that.
Yeah, well, I really think we need a couple of podcasts. I think we need a great Garrett Wilson. We need Le Pen. Who else we need?
Gert Wilders.
Tim Martin.
We can have,
Tim Martin is important.
I know.
Who else do we have?
What other far right? Who's that far right politician in Austria? Is it Sebastian Kurz?
No, he's the centre right party. I've forgotten the guy's name.
Norbert Hofer or something.
Yes.
Oh, Hofer, yeah.
Because Kurz has taken on a lot of the policies, but it's as a compromise because the I think they're called the Freedom Party in Austria.
Austrian
quite
Freedom
popular.
Party.
Yeah, Austrian Freedom Party. They were quite popular.
Theresa May has said that the Tories apparently at this moment in time are the only party to offer strong and stable leadership. You missed out in the national interest, Mrs. May.
Yeah, you did. You're slipping there, Theresa.
Yeah. I mean, he's nothing compared to Matt Hancock.
Oh yeah, I think Matt Hancock might have to make an appearance at some point.
I think he will.
As far as the Austrian Freedom Party goes, just a quick little trivia about them. They were founded by former Nazis, one of which was an ex-Waffen SS officer who considered Hitler's work to be unfinished business.
Yeah, I read that a few months ago.
That's disturbing.
Just a little bit of trivia about them to show you how utterly and thoroughly fucked Austria is.
Theresa May is claiming to be the best PM since Thatcher, rest her soul.
Oh, please.
I wonder who this person is.
I am 61, angels. Don't be so harsh! Exclamation mark. Look, I'm not ageist. I, of all people, am not ageist.
Oh yeah, you support Daddy Finch.
I will have to say that in terms of best Prime Minister since Thatcher, I'm going to have to say Tony Blair. Since Thatcher.
I'm going to say, as a master of compromise, because they have all been not that good, Gordon Brown. Because he didn't
but the worst Prime Minister Thatcher is obviously choosing me.
Yes,
The
definitely.
I would probably go with Theresa May as well. I think
I would go David Cameron because Theresa May is not actually. She's been just ineffective. David Cameron was out openly damaging. Same with Tony Blair, and Gordon Brown was okay.
I would argue that Tony Blair was taking Iraq out of the equation, which is unforgivable. Arguably extremely effective in his first 1.5 terms.
He was effective. That doesn't mean he was good. That's the key point.
He also knew how to win, and therefore.
The thing is, I didn't want him to win. That was the issue.
I mean, Barack Obama, for example, is an effective campaigner, but as a politician, he's not good.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, he's lads. Anyway, don't carry on this article.
Yeah,
carry on with the article.
Yeah. After members of the Knesset, is that a political party?
Knesset is the name of the Israeli parliament.
Right, I really don't know much about Israeli politics. The Israeli parliament representative
Just call it Israeli parliament.
Palestinian Arab citizens of the state of Israel and Jewish supporters of peace and democracy. We are right to express our solidarity with Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party in the United Kingdom. Palestinian Arabs constitute about a fifth of your citizenry. Right, this is interesting. Now, also, I'll mention this. There's about 7 million Palestinians living outside Palestine in Israel as refugees. In like Syria, Lebanon, particularly Jordan has a very high Palestinian population, and Egypt. As such, we have a deep understanding of the vulnerability that many minority communities feel. In the UK and around the world, we respect the vigilance which minority groups monitor the actions and statements of the local leaders to ensure that their rights are not infringed upon and to defend their members from unwarranted attacks of their group identity. Palestinian citizens of Israel have yet to experience a single day of equality, de jure or de facto, to say nothing of the millions passing on the military occupation in the West Bank, on the siege in the Gaza Strip, and 6 million next abroad, prevented from returning to their homeland simply because they are not Jews. As a part of the Palestinian people, this has been all this experience of the Zionist movement since day one. In the parliament, in the streets, on the wall stage, we Palestinian parliamentarians argue it's not possible for any other ethnic state, Jewish or otherwise, to be a state that guarantees equality to all citizens. For a state to be Jewish and democratic. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu has proved that we are right all along for passing a constitutional state law which explicitly raises the right of Jewish people to paramount status, downgrades the Arabic languages and cultures to mention equal rights, regardless of mention of race and religion. Do you want to carry on, or do you want to
carry on?
Right.
Carry on.
Emboldened by the rise of foreign forces in the US and other parts of the world, the Netanyahu government has made it abundantly clear that Palestinians will never have a state of their own, and that they will never be allowed equally inside Israel. Emboldened by Netanyahu's ultra-nationalism, is really racist, or stepping on the vigilante attacks on the Palestinian people, putting the spirit of the nation state more into practice. Incredible, instead of taking that government to task was unadulterated racism. The British political class ignores the past year's historical blight and attacks and abuses the British and European leader who vocally supports the Palestinian cause, using inequality. And within the Netanyahu government, rapid racism or struggle for survival is more precarious than ever. But while we focus locally on what's left of our diminishing rights, we will speak out now in relation to repugnance at these recent attempts to complete our show by forbidding the UK airport any mention on the name of force and laid against Palestinian cause. As long as efforts occur anti-Jewish sentiment, UK authorities.
Sorry to interrupt. Look at the side chat.
Actually, I have to look at this.
I'm looking at the side chat. Let's see. Okay.
Our focus on combating the disappointment of Jews.
Total mess.
Merely for the membership in a minority group, they have our full support. But when some try to force their party to using it, it's as litmus test for a definition of anti-Semitism that goes far beyond any Jewish areas, including anti-Zionism. We must raise our voices and encourage these efforts. We commend Jerry Corbyn for decades of public service in which people who has long-standing solidarity of all Christians around the world, including his affliction support for the Palestinian people. We stand solidarity with Jerry Corbyn. We recognise as a principled leftist leader who aspires peace and justice, opposed to all forms of racism, whether directed at Jews, Palestinians, or any other group. So that's it. So, I wonder what everyone thinks about this, because I really like this article. Really,
Yeah, I had a
gives
little
me hope
saw
and
that on
peace.
Guardian earlier, yeah. But I'm sorry, it was rather overshadowed by the fact that we have Theresa May talking about anal sex.
How do I look at this?
Which actually is probably one of the worst images I could possibly create in my head. But
Why? Yeah, just why?
well, because Shaft did.
I'm half lizard. Right. It
was an
I know.
autocorrect fail. It was an autocorrect fail, basically.
It was a great autocorrect fail. Truly
I mean,
wonderful.
it was a great autocorrect.
Right, I know it is.
Yeah, I mean, he also said nothing has changed, so I'm like, oh, that's obviously Asim. Right.
Uh-huh.
Oh dear. I tell you what, I'm in. I mean, I do it for the publicity.
Of course you do. Of course you for that. Anyway, what do you think about article? I can think of. But let's have to check what it's called. She's a minute.
Oh,
for God's
my husband
sake.
gives it to me after he takes out the bins.
Oh God.
It says a threesome
You're
with
far
me,
too
Danny
amusing,
Vincent,
Theresa
Philip
May.
Hammond, sign me up.
Mm.
Is this Asim? Because it really feels like it is Asim.
Yeah. Or it's one of you lot, and it's like a double bluff.
Nah, it's not me doing this.
It's not. It's honestly not me. I can't anyway because I'm like watching it on the iPad and stuff.
And I don't
Yeah,
mix.
it is not me.
It can't be me.
The only fake Twitter account I want, not Twitter account, I've already got one of those. The only fake account that I was going to set up was a while back, a Gavin Williamson troll account.
Oh yeah, but instead you created the Benite National Party.
Benite Socialist, the Benite Socialist Twitter account, and then Stephen, because he's genius, came up with the Benite National Party.
Yeah.
Well, I said the National Beninist Party, and then at one point I was like, wait a minute, I can just switch it around as the BNP.
And you did, and thus the greatest political party in British history was created.
It was.
Yeah.
Imagine if it gets reported on BBC News.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want to take it too far, do you? Because then you'll end up with a position in which you have to explain why you've been defacing Tony Benn's name with National Socialism.
We now have Matt Hancock sucking up to our PM in the side.
Oh my god.
I don't know who Theresa May is, but I know for a fact that Matt Hancock is Cameron.
And I had to keep that, like, I didn't know. No, sorry, I did know, but I kept on, like, pretending that it was Jack James. But then I could also have envisaged that Jack James is actually doing it. But I had to pretend that I didn't know it was Cameron. It was actually me and Cameron that cooked it up one night. And he's like, oh, I'm going to make Matt Hancock. And I was like, okay.
So, what's everyone's thoughts on the article that we just discussed?
You know, I'll bring back the article.
Yeah, I think that'll be...
Was the article basically saying that Palestinians were being oppressed, and as Netanyahu, so long as Netanyahu was there, they're never going to get their own state?
Oh, yeah.
Basically, yes.
Okay, in which case, that's just facts.
But the article also suggests that they'll support being Israel state if they get equality.
Oh, yeah.
This is it.
I mean, I suppose one positive thing about, let's see, the smears against Corbyn is that, you got a lot more people paying attention to the whole, issues with the,
What I'm going on about the hashtag National Hancock Service. I need one back in a sec.
Right.
Oh, yeah, but yeah, you do have people now paying attention more to the whole Israel and Palestinian crisis and some of the atrocities that Israel are currently doing against the people of Palestine.
Indeed, yes. And that brings me on to a question for you guys. What would be your solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict?
Let's see, I'm not sure. I mean, it seemed like the two-state solution was once the best choice, but it seems like Trump killed it.
Towards that's yes and no. I think the solution is very simple. I think it's going to be very similar to North Ireland peace arrangement. We have some sort of Parisian arrangement over the most sensitive area, so Jerusalem, where they have a Palestine in the Gaza and the West Bank. Israel misses its territories and for a power share over Jerusalem as a really joint solution. Something along those lines. So the both power share of Jerusalem, but Jerusalem is under UN or international control officially with the power share in their name. You understand what I'm saying? Something along those lines, maybe some sort of solution. But yeah, Jerusalem needs to be shared with between both powers. Or not, it won't work.
Yeah, my solution to it would basically be what happened in Bosnia after the Bosnian War. Because this isn't just about politics like it was in Northern Ireland. This is about territory as well. And territorial dispute. And I know that Northern Ireland was a pseudo-territorial dispute because it was all about we want a united Ireland. But this is more clear-cut and obvious.
Also, you've just reminded me about talking about Ireland. There's an article I saw yesterday in the weekend edition of the Eye. There's also on the Independent by Patrick Cockburn, the foreign correspondent, about Ireland and Brexit, and that's something I could share actually because that's a very good article. Something I could mention about in a minute or something.
Yeah. I'm curious about this article at the side. Niagara Farage found Heckler's Nazi scum after they met in Perth. Marco Borgner is strongly opposed his Brexit trade proposals.
Nigel Farage's Nazi scum.
Yeah, I'm going to check both out of curiosity. There's this one today.
Yeah, this is he's very much against the kind of half in, half out thing that Theresa May is trying to do with the single market.
Oh yeah, he wants a full-on hard Brexit.
Yeah.
There's this great checkers agreements. First, both sides of the divide don't want it. Now the EU doesn't want it. So Mayors have no choice to abandon checkers and create another proposal.
It's not
That's
very
why.
popular.
No? So Mark Bonney said he's strongly opposed to Theresa May's policies, checkers' proposals on future trade. As he said, European car manufacturers that they have to use full British parts after Brexit, which is not actually needed actually if you can get a no tariff border, which is determined by the customs union.
So we got we got Average Joe in the side chat.
Angels has returned.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been here actually for a couple of minutes, and then I'm like, why are these bastards ignoring me? And then I was like, oh wait, I'm on mute. And then Joe said, hello, you bunch of Venezuela-loving Trotskyites. Speak for yourself, love.
Trot.
So Theresa May is asking about Average Joe. The one and two.
Oh, yes, it could be Joe. You're right. No, it's one of we're gonna figure it out. Fine, it's probably one of you lot and putting the wool over our eyes.
Nah, it isn't me.
Nah.
I can tell you that for certain.
And
not
I'm
me
not down to do this.
Well, I can't because my laptop's on with the other thingy with the my actual account in the other Hangout, and then I'm now watching it on an iPad, and I'm chatting to you lot on my phone. So it's definitely not me.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So in the most damaging condemnation of the UK government's plans, the EU chief bet the US stated the British offer and custom was illegal. I suggested our common rule book goods will kill the European project. Well, that's interesting.
Cameron.
Well, yeah.
Can I send you that Guardian article about the medicine agency to now, because we could probably cover it. It's not like a massive article or anything, but it's just kind of interesting.
So is that the medicine on Brexit?
Yeah, but it's the different one from last time.
Right, I'll look at it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look at this and the one about the Algebra fraud, and then go to that.
So it's medicine shortages we're talking about.
It's the Guardian article that I think it appeared today.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, interesting.
Yeah, it's separate from the one that we covered. Do you remember recently we covered one, but this is different.
Right, okay.
See, the EU's really frightened.
I just think Uncle Nigel's our
Yeah, they think the trader will encourage you to leave. That's why it's the kill European project.
No, I think they've already decided to go somewhere else or something. I don't know. Let me try and find it.
All right. Well, this is very interesting.
Carry on going through that, and then I'll.
If this is tight on the common rule book, imagine what Labour's going to do when creating a new customs measure. Right. Instead, any intervention that will concern 186 people, 186,000 people, exactly, and probably the car industry in the UK. Barnier has warned European manufacturers that do not system of import and export between UK and Europe would come to an end. We're saying that because you're concerned that common rule book will affect the unity of the union. Not us, of necessity. The former French minister has added, in order for UK companies to enjoy low tariffs on the exports around the world, there is a shown British manufacturer. I see it. They have their own interest. Bloody hell. They have their own economic interest. What a surprise. Let's ignore that the French have their own very large car industry. And they want Britain uniting in the market against them. What a surprise.
Yeah, I fucking knew it. Look who's shown up in the side chat.
Alright.
Who?
It's Ronald J. Dump.
Who the fuck is
Donald
Rolls?
Trump. You're all fired. Hello, Teresa. You're fired too.
Oh god. Have we
I
got
knew it.
a fucking Donald Trump account in here?
We do now.
But
I
you know
told
what?
you. I told you.
Donald
You
Trump.
know,
Oh god.
you know what? There's one person this could be. It's Captain Swiss. I got a weird feeling it could be him.
What, Swiss has set up a Donald Trump
Yeah,
troll
he knows
account?
I'm several troll accounts. So he's another candidate.
I wonder if we'll get Tony Blair one.
I think there was already a Tony Blair a while ago, actually.
Yeah, don't give him any ideas.
No, don't. Just fucking yeah. Actually,
Oh, it
stop
could be James
it.
Golden. I'll put him as a candidate. Outside the internal market and the customs, this involves customs formalities that control, that hinder just-in-time production. Brian said, in order for the EU commerce benefits of a EU trade agreement, only a certain portion of the services provided in a kind of third country. Versus have to be careful not to use too many parts of Britain in vehicles in the future. So basically, so also we make on the trade of countries.
We need to okay, headlines.
You know what? I wish Road Dog was here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm
She's
actually
raging.
gonna text. I'm gonna text her right now.
You
I'm
have
gonna
to
text
get
her.
her
But
here
my
to tell her.
intention is this: we got a Spanish Prime Minister, and then we've got the European Union going after their own interests, and we have a Prime Minister that's not going for ours. Basically, the EU's trying to shove British manufacturers of car parts on purpose. Well, I get them. But and we can't do it, right? Because tourism is useless. Brussels has until now raised questions in public and in private about the UK government's vision on trade after Brexit, but as far as shy of its outright dismissal. Well, the government has no vision. The clueless. They don't see Liam Fox or more.
No, thank God. I actually
It
deliberately
was all-
avoided it because I heard that it was he and fucking David Davis. So I was like, no,
Oh,
Well,
the true man.
David
of the
Davis was
people.
actually alright. It's quite interesting. But
gruesome twosome.
Liam Fox was terrible.
Yeah, but he's
Right.
always terrible. That's why they tried to
Yeah,
hide
he's
him.
mostly
Exactly.
rubbish.
When is
I
William
would-
Silver Fox not terrible?
He is mostly awful. The only thing that he did say that was of any validity was that the projections from the Treasury are not exactly the world's most useful things for determining the future, what will happen after Brexit.
It's just he's
But then again, no, he is atrocious. Yes,
yeah,
I mean,
he is
just
like one of the most I would say probably one of the most embarrassing ministers. We got Maven in the side chat. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. I know. Don't you feel honoured, Maven? We've got like our wonderful, strong and stable Prime Minister in the national interest, Theresa May. We've got Donald Trump. We've even got
Now
Matt.
I've got Errol Pickles. Also, Eric Pickles as well now.
Oh, we've got Eric Pickles as well.
Oh, I know for a
This is
fact
turning
who that
It's
is.
turning into a party.
You know, Swiss gets all of the cabinet ministers, but Cameron gets the Prime Minister and the President of the United States. So suck it.
And effectively
swear-
the equivalent of 5 cabinet ministers in Eric Pickles.
Yeah. I swear I've asked more Swiss.
Suck it, Swiss. You've been owned.
Maybe it's like
I
Vogue.
swear it's Swiss. He's getting his back on. You can't look at this article. Where was it at? But speaking to the Frank, I'm not pronouncing that. Frankfurter
Allgemeine Zeitung, I think it is.
Zeitung, yeah.
Zeitung.
Sounds German.
It is German.
newspapers.
Yeah.
When they visited Germany, Ronnie did not hold back. The European Commission, after there were overlapping interests in fields of security and foreign policy. In response to the 100 pages of UK's white paper, the EU offered free trade deal will likely only come to 15 to 20 pages due to lack of common ground and the economic relationship suggested. But basically, the government has to throw away checkers. I'm often accused in the United Kingdom of being dramatic about it. In fact, I don't feel off fundamental interest. It's a shame that no one follows all fundamental interest. Under the checkers deal, there will be a free trade area for goods, under which UK in effect will retain existing regulatory and customs arrangements by becoming a rule taker, or what some people call a vassal state. In order to avoid border checks, Britain is also seeking facilitated customs arrangements. UK control its own tax to allow it to pursue independent trade policy, but its customs officials will collect and pass on a high EU tariff to Brussels for goods passing the UK and the continent. Major factor Prime Minister, or the major factor Deputy Prime Minister, David Livingstone, has recently said Chequers' proposal will protect both the British and European economies from damage, and his only alternative to no deal scenario, which is nonsense. Well, that's complete nonsense.
Why?
But he's saying that Chequers' proposal is the only alternative to a no deal.
Of course, it's nonsense. Yes.
Well,
yeah, that is nonsense.
I mean, I'm a Remainer and I fucking hate the Chequers deal.
Well, of course, it's nonsense. You've got the Norway option. You've got, as one big example.
You know, after EAA brought
You've got the fact you can just
kind
have
of post deal.
You can have just a straight up customs union if you want. The idea that you've just got one option and that's Chequers is ridiculous.
Rather multiple.
Oh, Maven. Yes, make a Trudeau account. Just make the picture look really handsome.
Oh god!
Don't do it. Don't do it. Just you've gone too far there. You've gone with someone so awful that you know. I mean, I admit I'm saying this, and Donald Trump's on there, but you know.
I mean,
Yes.
I was going to say, really, like, I think we've got some pretty awful people already.
I think we need the Owen Jones account.
Fucking Owen Jones.
Not a fake account, the Asian account.
Don't assault the fellow schoolmate of Bramall High School. God,
I thought there was already an Owen Jones. I'm pretty sure that I've seen an Owen Jones account.
There's an Owen Jones account, but it's the Irish spelling of Owen Jones.
Oh, right, okay. And we'd know that since we were schooled by Gerard a while back.
We were indeed.
However, Barnier has seemingly ruled out such arrangements, insisting the only option is to remain something like the current economic relationship with the foreign Norway model, which is freedom movements and large payments in bushels, which, of course, is most likely going to happen. Oh, that's right. In my opinion, anyway. But Barnier said the UK customs proposals, we can't relinquish control over external borders and railroads there to a third country. That is not legal. Under EU law, it's not legal. Your law, I thought I mentioned that. It's in the treaties. By the way, improvement proceedings against London are ongoing because, according to the Commission, China's textile imports are not being properly cleared. Right. Moreover, the British proposal is not practical. It's impossible to tell exactly where a product ends up on the UK market or on the internal market. For example, sugar transported by tub in 25 kilo sacks, so you cannot trace every sack to this destination. That were only possible in the state with insane hundreds of bureaucracy. Therefore, British proposal would be an invitation to fraud if implemented. Right. This is why it's interesting. This is why the EU, the practical idea, why the EU doesn't allow countries to have independent trade deals. So if Labour gets in power and wants to put forth their proposal, what Labour has to do, what's the new customs find a way to stop products from outside Britain from coming into Britain, like say from America, grain from America, from going through Britain into the EU legally. that's what I want to prevent. Which is if we find a way to prevent it, we can get probably a good deal. He said in the current rule book.
Eventually, but I still don't have that much faith.
Well, nobody has faith in this government. That's the delusional. He said the current rule book idea in that white paper did not reflect the modern world of trade. Barney added.
Cameron,
Yeah?
I'm sending you that medicine thing or whatever on Twitter.
All right.
I'm just also going to add, I'm just going to go now because I'm going to be watching Match of the Day too. So,
All right.
Right.
Bye. Yeah, we'll
Alright.
probably after
See you
going through
later.
these. Yeah, see ya. I'm
Stephen.
gonna say after going through these articles, we'll probably end it after this discussion.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
I'll go to that one you're sending me, and then the one about Nigel Farage.
And then I'm gonna shove on the bullet hangout. Like, you know, I'm gonna go back on that and just relax for a bit.
That's what I like. Alright. Barney added, the interest of Europeans is preserve the integrity of the common market. That is our special strength, and why we respect throughout the world, even in the United States. I don't think that's the truth when Trump's putting high tariffs in the common market. But we have a current market of goods, services, capital, and people in our ecosystem that's grown for decades. You're going to pivot picking pieces. No reason why I suggest I strongly support this proposal. There are services in every product in your mobile phone, for example, which is 20 to 40% of total value.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the stimulus in Barnier, the reason why I'm anti-skeptical reform. Anyway, as a former minister in agriculture, I can tell that agricultural products are corrected in laws, covering hygiene, health, and environmental issues. In the production process, they're serving every litre of milk in apple. There must be unfair competition in the United Kingdom as weaker legal requirements than we do. Otherwise, you will discriminate and weaken our companies. This is an issue here. They will put their interests up here, so we should too. And in terms of this, we should actually, when we leave, aim to improve those laws. Because EU has done a lot of positive laws in these sectors.
Yeah.
Especially in that environment section. We should be looking to better laws, not deregulate. It's what the Conservatives want to do. The British and EU negotiators are due to be engaged this week. For 6 hours of talks. 6 hours. That's more than David Davis in a year.
Yeah. David, in a year, did 4 hours. But remember, we were told that he was not one to be underestimated.
Yeah, he is the Grandmaster chess player. You must underestimate him at your peril.
And then he fucked off without doing anything. Having done 4 hours talks the entire year. I mean, I can't actually believe that. That is, if you think about it to its merit, like that is kind of like he was the Brexit, just unbelievable, isn't it? Like, because he was Brexit secretary 4 hours in the whole year on a time limit with Article 52. Like, you couldn't actually really make it up, could you?
But remember, he the only reason he did that was because he's the Grandmaster chess player.
Because apparently he had this this wonderful plan up his sleeve. It's just not seen it yet.
It's like Trump's plan to get rid of ISIS. He had it, but he doesn't actually understand it or know it.
Okay.
And he doesn't want to show it to people.
Unfortunately, I knew that this would happen as well. Check who's in the side chat now.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Who's there?
Here, look, I will show you.
There is somebody called the Checkers Deal.
Oh God! I don't think it's Aston now. I think it's Captain Swiss. Honestly, do.
Blimey.
Oh
Ask
god,
Captain Swiss.
Maven's making a fucking Justin Trudeau again.
Anyway, after 6 hours and tops on Friday between
God.
Barnier and Don't Grab, the UK Secretary, however, EU sources said the substance of Chequers deals was affected history as far as Brussels is concerned. Chequers is dead. As Barnier said his interview published on Sunday. By the way, the British have a choice because they're in the single market like Norway, which is also not a member of the EU. But they would then have to take over all associated rules and contribution to European solidarity. It's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pointless. Literally, there's many others to stay or not deal.
Yeah, but I mean,
if it's part of transition, I wouldn't mind.
okay.
If we let the British pick the provisions are to use, there were serious consequences. There are all sorts of countries who insist we offer them the same benefits. This will end the single market in European project. So this is it. This is ultimate fear is not them being the interest because the serious concern is UK gets getting a good deal. Or could countries leave with the right to use get this in countries across Europe and will vindicate them. I think we're still getting still appreciate last minute.
So you reckon just? Do you think it's going to be a random deal at like the last minute?
Yeah, that's what. Yes. The thing is, they've got a lot of pressure, especially particularly in Germany, to get a deal with this. How and Merkel wants it. However, in France, Macron really doesn't want one. And that's the difference between them. So it's that conflict between Germany and France. Let's say if France was in the EU, we'd have better idea getting a deal.
We have Mr. Tony Blair in the side chat saying, let's exit from Brexit. It's time for a hashtag people vote.
Bill Blair, you stuck! Liar! Screw you!
We've taken. This is just unbelievable at this point.
I swear, it's time for asking my questions.
Right, why get a deal? Let's just remain. I mean, definitely. I agree with you, Tony. I think that.
Oh, of course you would.
Yeah, I would.
Well, say we have a deal that's worse than what we have now. If we're not going to have a hard Brexit, then we might as well.
Nah.
He's threatening to invade Iraq again. Please don't do that, Tony.
Can you read Bangkok and bring us back some fresh transgender beauty, and then they can send it to send to South Korea or something. Let's bring back the transgender beauty from town. I don't know why I said that, but responding to Boris remarks, the UK spokeswoman said, "We are confident that we have put forward a proposal that is very pragmatic and that will work for the UK and the EU. This proposal achieves a new balance of rights and obligations that fulfills our joint ambition to establish a deep and special partnership. Once the UK has left the EU, we are preserving the constitutional integrity of the UK. There is no proposal that does that. I'm not sure you're going to propose the constitutional integrity of the UK. Because issues in Northern Ireland and Scots. Our negotiating teams have upped the intensity. We continue to move at pace to reach, as Mr. Barnier says, an ambitious partnership will work in the mutual interest of citizens and business in the UK and the EU. And that's it. I'm really tired. I need to pick a topic for it. So I wonder what everyone thinks about this. Basically, what it says, Chequers is dead.
Oh yeah, I mean that was probably pretty obvious. I mean, There's probably going to be some form of, let's see, there's probably going to be like a leadership election at some point for like the Conservatives. And unlike May, she doesn't have the backing of her own membership.
Let's have a look what's going on in the side chat.
We've got lots of comments from Tony Blair. Yeah. Checkers would actually be the worst of both worlds, though. Whilst we're pissing around in the side chat with Tony Blair, aka someone that you know very well, which I won't comment on, but that's true. If we're not going to leave, per se, if like the Leavers don't get their wish, then what's the point in taking a shitter deal? I don't really see it, because then that's the worst of both worlds, isn't it? Because then we don't leave, but then we have a shitter deal than what we have now. So you've pissed off Leavers and Remainers at the same time.
Yeah. So how work out to a boy, isn't it? Looking like Fraser things, I think it's Captain Swiss. I'm certain it is. I thought it was asking that. I'm certain it's Captain Swiss now. Certain.
Uh-huh.
I agree with my thoughts.
Yeah, it could be so.
Right. I'm tempted, right?
He likes
type B dresses to find out who it
He
is.
likes a bit like Swiss, funny enough.
Well, I won't. Yeah. So, what was I actually think about Arsenal?
You go first, Thomas and Angels.
What was I saying?
I've been focusing on the insanity that is the fucking side chat. So, what was the article again? I remember hearing bits of it.
Yeah, I've been focusing. This is so bad. I've been focusing on the side chat as well.
Let's see. Hold on, I'm just going to take a. I just want to take another brief look at the article again before, so I can help some of my.
Okay, so actually no, I do remember what Cameron was saying. He said Checkers was dead. Yeah, I agree that Checkers is dead.
Wasn't dead the moment it came out in some ways?
Oh yeah.
More or less, yeah.
The evil rejection of it was the final nail in the coffin.
In many ways, it looked like it was going to help increase a boost for the Labour, because I think as soon as that happened, for the first time in since before the local elections, Labour were then ahead in the poll. I think there was even some that said they were 5 points ahead. But go on.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is look at the article about national fraud and look at the article that Angel sent.
Yeah.
Because I find it quite interesting. Right, I'll share it momentarily.
Who is this Tony Blair account? They seem to
Captain
be
Swiss. Hands out, it's Captain Swiss. Captain Swiss and nothing. Troy.
Mason says May is so shite that pissing off everyone is pretty much expected.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, she seems to have quite a talent at it. That's true.
But yeah, I don't understand why she came up with Checkers. Why she thought that was going to go down well with the ERG is beyond me.
I know. I guess she was partly desperate, or at least thought that some of the Labour MPs would have voted for it. But hey.
Well,
I mean, there were some that were in full support at first. I mean, you even had Tom Watson say we should probably vote on this deal.
Oh yeah, but that's just the fifth column being the fifth column, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, mixes. Right. National fraud. Fans heckle as Nazi scum at an event in Perth. Ex-UKIP leader used Australia tour to speak of Donald Trump friendship and praise the English Defence League founder.
What?
Free Tommy.
Free Tommy.
I thought you hated Tommy Robinson.
No, I do hate Tommy Robinson. It's just a joke of all of the idiots who turn up to London every so often, central London specifically, or inner London, whatever you want to call it, and fucking riot and break shit and beat up cops because that's what real patriots do.
Oh yeah.
Donald Trump in the side chat has said that Nigel Farage is a good friend. # free Tommy.
What about Jada Franson? You tweeted Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
He probably likes Jada Franson too. Mr. Trump, what are your thoughts on Jada Franson?
Probably Rob. So he retweeted her 3 times. So.
And then
I'm not at all surprised that Uncle Dodge has said those things. Keep in mind, this is the same guy that went round Dulwich College, I believe, and was chanting things like "gas the Jews, gas the Jews, gas the Jews" over and over again.
Like, did Nigel Farage say gas the Jews?
Well, he didn't say gas the Jews. He said gas them all, gas them all, gas them all, which basically, when you say gas them all, who are you typically talking about?
Oh yeah, the Jews.
Exactly.
The Jewish face. Let's see.
Most likely. What pastor thought.
If that's the
Jesus
case,
Christ.
if that's the case. Sorry.
Donald J. Trump inside chat. Jada Franson can ride my Trump Tower.
Well, the Trump Tower is very strong and erect, isn't it? Very, very big.
So I take it he's gonna grab them by the, so I take it he's gonna grab her by the pussy then. Sorry, that was awful. Let's see. But anyway, I was going to say before I interrupted, let's see, and Nigel Farage has the audacity to call Corbyn an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, again, what do you expect from Uncle Nige?
Maven asks, when did Farage say gas?
Oh, I'll have to find the article. It was when he was a young man. I'll link it and find it.
Right. Dozens of protesters have heckled ticket holders in Perth on the first Saturday night of Nigel Farage's week-long speaking tour of Australia and New Zealand. Police have formed a cordon around demonstrators.
Okay, I found the article.
Nazi scum off our streets and shame as people entered the 350 capacity hall in Western Australia.
I found the article, by the way. It's a one from The Independent. It's called Farage's Fascist Past. Nigel boasted about his NF initials and sang Gas them all, claims school friend.
Blimey.
Yeah. Well, that is.
And it was in the 70s.
Blimey.
Yeah. Right, so I can't go through this. I'll check a look. One woman called a sign up saying, Farage out, mining in a reference to US business broker Chelsea Mining was defeated by the Australian government last week. Inside the venue, a convenient atmosphere greeted the former UK leader, who stuck into a well-formed repertoire of opinions on populism, multiculturalism and Brexit, references for his friend Donald Trump. Farage is Australia and the wider English-speaking world will benefit from Britain's impending departure from the EU. Well, the party would actually. They were all lined up. Even Australian politicians saying Britain should not vote for Brexit, which took me for being completely utterly bizarre. He says, because if there's one repercussion for the world, is that it will benefit. We reserve what we did to you in the common market.
Reversed.
Sorry. Yeah. And that's what enables us to have close relations with Britain and Australia and the wider English speaking world. In his first off monologue, Farage regaled his audience with tales of being invited to dinner with the US President and to speak at a campaign rally. Later, during a question and answer session conducted from an armchair with a glass of wine in his hand, he lavished praise on Trump. I like Trump, he said. On that stage in the Mississippi, I came off the podium and shook his hand. He said, "You'll be my friend for life. Do you know that?" I believe him. For us visit coincided with troubles for a few weeks in Australian politics. After the moderate Liberal Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, also by Portugal, the President Scott Morrison, the social conservative author of the whole Australian anti-asylum seeking forces.
Did someone say
Don't
something?
have to know about that. We'll actually put that Sheffield Island to stick the asylum seeking for Australia. Right. Farage praised Pauline Hanson, the leader of the Australian
God,
populace.
she's a freak.
One Nation Party
She's
to
Oh,
play a
Pauline.
vital role in raising
Pauline Hanson.
immigration. But added he was worried about her narrative. And the thing is, Australia's literally built on immigration. It literally funkers, it breathes it.
Australia has a serious problem with racism and
Yeah.
xenophobia.
The thing is immigration. Australia's always had high immigration. And if it didn't, it would have been the country it is today.
Well, I
Even,
think go on.
even today, immigration is so important for the economy and the growth of the economy. It's not to immigrate in this country. I mean, in this country, most benefits immigration not that's why the majority of the population. Australia's very different.
Well, this is the general rule that you tend to find with countries which have high immigration versus those that have low immigration. Take Japan and even Australia, or us, for example. Australia. Australia has a high level of immigration and very good economic growth as a result. Japan, however, has next to no immigration or very little immigration, and it has a stagnant economy, huge deficit, and its debt is double its overall GDP.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I hear that there's some issues with the population decreasing over time.
Well,
Yes, it is.
Japan's with this one because it's one of the most densely populated countries in the world, and it's not a frontier country. Means that it's not. Dense. Australia is one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world. It's literally like a frontier still.
Oh yeah,
Means that-
because everyone lives around the edges, and there's nothing in the middle except for Alice Springs and a bunch of like
Yeah,
fucking bread towns that have post once a week. I mean, I do
there's
not
area-
understand how somebody would want to live there unless it's obviously on the coast.
Well,
There's
there's decent parts of Australia because you've got, as you said, you've got the coast, which is places like Gold Coast, Sydney, and Perth. And then you've got inner Australia, which basically is nobody lives there. It's incredibly sparsely populated because it's jungle and deserts.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's the entire thing. And I mean, like, why is that appealing? Like, that is just like literally my hell.
In Northern Australia, there's literally areas that has a Great Britain. That's no settlements.
Guess it might be the nice weather, I guess, because I mean,
Yeah,
people
but
be
Who
going.
the fuck? You can get killed by fucking black widow spiders in 5 seconds. Like, no thanks.
I don't know.
think about this. Australia has a land that area in Northern Australia is about the size of Great Britain. Like no one lives there, but it's owned by a Japanese farmer, but no one lives there. Literally, no one.
Yeah, but I know. But and
It's
that's
really
the entire
weird.
thing.
It's still like a frontier colony.
But
That's
you know
right.
how like unless you go to extremely specific places, because obviously I guess in the eyes of history, like it is a very new quote unquote country. So therefore culture's massively lacking compared to what I would demand and that kind of thing. And I don't see it. I don't understand it really. Like there's only so many sausages you can shove on some like sort of temporary barbecue on the beach. Only so much lager that tastes like piss that you can swill. No, I'm sorry, it's true.
Yeah.
It's not my ideal country to live in. I'll say that much.
I'd rather not.
What's interesting about Australia, right? It's actually quite multicultural. It's like America's it's culturally been built on a mix of others, especially from Asia recently. It's got a lot of influence from Indonesia and China.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
My advice
carry
would
on.
be. Yeah, go on.
Sorry. Carry if you want.
I was going to say, my advice would be if you want Australia, but nice Australia, go with in New Zealand because that's basically Australia but nice.
You know what? In Australia's constitution, New Zealand's actually part of Australia.
I'm sorry, I am not going to live somewhere with more sheep than people.
Well, you got Wales, and you would you consider
Well, I
living in
don't
Cardiff?
live in Wales. Yes, I'm part Welsh, but I don't live in Wales. No, I'm sorry, no.
Would you ever consider living in Cardiff?
Only in certain parts of Cardiff.
But you in Wales, there's more sheep than people.
Yes, but that's like if you go to the inbred parts. I'm talking about like the acceptable part.
Right, I carry on reading this.
We've had. Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh
dear
God. Donald Trump has said in the side chat this actually honestly made me feel slightly nauseous. He says, "Don't worry, to Theresa May. You can come to the USA and take my hard Brexit anytime, Mother Teresa." And then he adds, "I should invite Theresa and Jada to Trump Tower. They don't know what hard Brexit is until they've experienced it." I actually want to be sick, and I know you're joking. Maven says, "I've been to Perth and WA."
I don't know what WA is, I'm afraid.
I don't know what WA is, I'm afraid, either. I probably will when I see the...
I know what Perth is.
Nice place, but way too hot to live there. Surfing, barbecue, kangaroos, plenty of land to build a nice house. Yeah, but I don't give a shit about surfing. You can have barbecues anywhere. I mean, who gives a fuck about kangaroos, really? And plenty of land to build a house. Oh, well. But if you build a house in the middle of nowhere, and there's like loads of land around, but there's basically nothing else to actually do, and you don't get post more than once a week, like my cousin, for example. I'm just not interested. Like, it's not one of those things. I prefer things with a bit more cultural history sort of thing, and also more civilization, like just more people.
Define civilization.
Okay, people who aren't stuck in the middle of nowhere with not much to do, who, where there is like a rich cultural sort of influence. Multicultural, definitely.
That's not dictionary. That's not the dictionary definition. But
I take it also gammon free, Angels.
What?
I take it also gammon free.
I'd quite like it to be gammon free, but I understand that there are gammon everywhere. But I'm just saying, like, there are certain places probably with less gammon than others.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the place that I would choose as an ideal place to live in is a place that isn't really multicultural, and that's Norway.
Oh yeah, that's quite true. Oh, he means Western Australia.
Oh, Western Australia, okay.
Or you could come to let's say South Yorkshire, where that's parts that multicultural. Parts are like pretty white.
Yeah, but they're also like filled with Weatherspoons and stuff.
Yeah, but the Gammons are part of our multicultural society.
Okay, can I just avoid them?
Can you avoid the darkies equally?
No, I'd rather hang out with the darkies and ignore the gammons.
But the gammons are important to our functioning society.
I don't think so. I find them thoroughly unimportant.
All right.
Let's just ship them off to the Isle of Wight, and they can all be angry and like in retirement age together.
Well, can't touch Mr. Ike.
So are you saying we leave all the gammons in Wales?
No. Probably Isle of Inbreds or just anywhere that's so like the Isle of Inbreds. There's probably a few random islands we can ship them off to. Where else is awful?
Scotland. So Scotland.
Scotland's nice. Let's get rid of them to like.
Let's see now. Tell place. Let's see. I guess maybe New Jersey.
Oh, hello, Gerard.
I was left in the other hangout with Matt Hancock. Right, so what are we talking about?
Can't we get rid of them to where else is hell? Oh, Boston and Skegness. Yes, perfect. And they'll be amongst their own kind. So it'll be even.
Wait, isn't Parliament back tomorrow?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yes.
How exciting!
Oh.
Oh, blind.
Get ready.
Chaotic.
Get ready for a fucking showdown.
Yeah.
Right, where else is hell? So there's Boston and Skegness. Where else is hell again? We discussed this, Thomas. You said
Maven's made a pretty good point. Is this the Madagascar plan for gammons? Kind
Where else
of,
is
yeah.
where else is hell, Lisburn? There you go.
Lisbon's shit. What else? What's a really hard Tory place in the country?
Sorry.
No, not Surrey. Somewhere further up north, like real proper dump that votes Tory all the time.
oh, like loads of the coastal towns are like that, proper fucking dumps, like Tory Brexit shitholes.
But the coast towns in north.
Richmond in Yorkshire.
Oh,
Hazel's seat.
Tory areas.
How about Jacob Rees-Mogg's area?
Oh yeah, we can deport them all to summer or shit.
Sounds like a plan.
Mm-hmm.
North Yorkshire, which is no one lives there.
I'm sure Mog would love some more gowns. It's been a while since I've joined
Anyway,
the
I think-
hangout.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should kind of read this article.
Okay, go on.
I will say this to Miss Hanson and others in Europe, that being against Islamism is the right place to be. But put yourself in a position where you are taking a holy war against the religion of Islam is a mistake. For all said, if you do it, you will lose. To win a big fight, sometimes you have to. Oh no! What's happening to the PC? Not responding. Oh.
That's it. Well,
I got a phone call and it cut me off on my phone.
There is another place as well which we should definitely deport them all to. And that place is Cheshire.
Cheshire. Okay. All right.
Island.
Ireland? No.
No, keep them out of here.
Love Island.
Keep them out of here.
No, I said Love Island. I said Love Island.
Oh, Love Island.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, yeah. Get rid of them there.
They
with that
don't really
awful-
fit in Love Island because even though they got the same brain power as all those people, they haven't got the looks, and that's the problem.
Yeah, but neither do the Love Island people really, if you break it down, because they're basically just walking, talking, sort of Botox-ridden Barbies.
Yeah, pretty much. I have fair point. They are completely plastic, so that is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump says, "Build the wall."
Can we build a wall around Trump so we won't have to hear?
No, fuck build the wall. Don't do that. Build the dome. That's what I want done.
Dome. This is gonna be some Simpsons movie type shit.
I mean, can't we just... I mean, the Isle of Inbreds is already filled with gammon anyway, so they'd be amongst their own kind. We wouldn't have to deal with them. It would be like the perfect plan.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. So what happened to Cameron?
Right, we ship them to the Isle of Inbreds, then we make a bit of use of our trident missiles. Plan that they'll be further away from us, and we won't feel the effects, and we get to use trident once in a while, so it's a win-win for everybody.
Problem is I'll feel the effect because I live right next to the shithole.
Yeah, but you're in a shithole anyway, so it's all relevant.
That, to be fair, that is pretty true.
That is kind of true.
Nigel Evans is Ribbon Valley MP for Lancashire. Well, in that case,
Right.
Ribbon Valley needs to be nuked.
Right, I'm back.
Okay, welcome back. What the hell is Ribble Valley?
Some fucking unknown place that nobody's heard of.
Yeah.
Average Joe says ship them all off to the Isle of Man. Actually, that's
No, the Isle of Wight, because they can all then shag their sisters, cousins, and stuff. And
We do that now, man.
There's no one on the Isle of Man, that's the thing.
Yeah, and if we nuke it, then it's far away enough from civilization that perhaps no one will get raided.
And it will cause a Brexit crisis since it's not the EU. Win-win.
Exactly.
Actually,
win-win.
what even is the Isle of Man?
It's a
It's
British
a small
What the
dependent.
Isle- hang on, you don't know what the Isle of Man is?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
It's a small little territory off the coast of England.
It's
Yeah, but
big
where?
enough to be on the map.
Is it as bad as the Isle of Wight?
Not real. To give you an
Oh.
example of where it is, it's in between
It's
Northern
in between, like,
Ireland.
yeah, and Scotland. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. If you were to do it, it's in between Belfast and Blackpool. That's where
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
pretty good.
Oh, bye, Karen. So, like, respond to the quote you said that Frost says.
Like, I know that Blackpool's a shithole because I've actually had the fortune of having been there.
So is Belfast, so it all,
Great, so it's between two shitholes, and it's also a shithole. Okay, that's fine.
Anyway, as I was kind of saying, to respond to Cameron about the quote that Nigel Farage said about how if you position yourself in a holy war against the religion of Islam, it's a mistake. Which, yeah, I mean, face it, if you're going to say holy war and stuff, you're going to look like a nut. You're going to look like a complete nutter.
It sort of
it's fine.
sounds. It sort of sounds similar to Anne-Marie Waters when she, even though she hasn't overtly said this, she basically says, "We need a war on Islam." It's kind of like that.
But she's an absolute fruitcake. So, like, why is that even a thing?
Sorry, Thomas. I'm trying to imagine her with that voice. It's beautiful. It's like her with an insanely manly voice. We need a war in Islam.
I
It's
can't
amazing.
fucking. I don't know what her accent is. It's some northern place that I've never heard of, more than likely.
All
Finland.
you Southerners are the same.
What? Me and Thomas don't have the same accent, and we're both.
You Southerners are a hive mind of just opinions. You know, y'all think the North is some far off place. Y'all think we're gonna chips of shit. You know,
Well-
you're all just a hive mind.
There is one thing I will say about the North, and I don't like to generalise places that often unless they really deserve it. But there's one
Oh,
thing
I do.
about the North that is objectively true, and that is they can't cook for shit.
Yeah.
Like,
You're referring to
gravy
the
and
north of
fucking
England?
shit.
So you're referring to north of England, or you're also including Scotland?
North of England.
Oh,
Although
okay.
Scotland has got that problem as well because they think that deep fried Mars bars taste good. So, yeah.
But on the other hand, the Scots have good drinks, so kind of
Oh, yeah.
cancels it.
True. Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
We
Oh,
went really
Shafted.
on topic.
Shafted doesn't like people who dye their hair unless it's black and brown. Or brown.
Oh no! Oh no!
You're on
Yeah,
his hit
I
list,
know,
Gerard.
Oh no!
Gerard's a fake blondie.
I'm not a big blondie. I was born with blonde. I've only
you were
changed
blonde,
back.
but that's not to say that you kept it, unlike me.
Yeah, but I've changed back.
Oh, Maven Politics says Yorkshire pudding and Cumberland sausage. I rest my case.
And my response is simply gravy and chips. I rest my case.
Yeah.
Oh, Trump says that apparently there are 124 genders or something. I can't count.
It's like 114 or something, isn't it?
I thought
130.
there were 72.
No, I think it's a bit less. I remember Asim going through them, and they were ridiculous. There was like
Hydrogender, alien gender,
Astral
aquagender,
gender,
fucking all that. Astrogender.
Hydrogender, you identify as an ocean.
No, hydrogender basically is another name for gender fluidity. You basically say, "Oh, I feel like being a man one day, and then another day I feel like."
But by the name, it sounds like. But by the name, it sounds like you identify as a water balloon.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah, no, it's fucking ridiculous. But like the thing is, there was also, what was the Tom? What was the astral gender or astrogender or whatever it was?
I think that's basically like you're an alien or road turf. I'm not sure what astrogender was. I'll look it up.
We had like so many of them.
Astro.
Astro.
Right.
I can't remember which one it was, but probably Astro. Yeah.
Right, astrogender, you make yourself sound like you identify as a planet.
What?
Oh, right.
What it sounds like, you identify as a planet. That's what it sounds like. Just going by the name.
Right. So you go, well, I feel like identifying it as a planet, so I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, I'm just going to identify as Jupiter.
Okay.
You know,
Brilliant.
I am now Mars.
Mhm.
Right, I got lost article I've been sharing before it ends.
One more thing from Shafted. Bond is okay, but gay guys seem to think that when they realise they're gay, they dye their hair blonde and it looks wrong. Some of
Oh,
them
stop!
anyway.
Did you probably want to punch me?
Well, yeah, I want to fucking punch him because he had like really sweet, like slightly honeyish, dirty blonde like curls, and I'm like, don't bleach it because you can tell it's peroxide, and he was having none of it, and he's like, I'm going to do it anyway, and I was like, no, it's a travesty because
To
I
be,
am blonde
right,
myself.
to be fair to me, I'm just going to do it long before I met you, so
Yeah,
you
I know
weren't
that.
really taking my opinion at that stage.
To be
Yeah.
fair, I think that his blonde hair, having seen what it looks like, is better than his old haircut.
Well, I disagree, but then I'm also have a chip on my shoulder about fake blondes because I'm not one.
Yeah, you always point out like black roots as an example.
Yeah, like that fucking slag from the Leave campaign and Lauren Southern.
Well, Lauren Southern deserves it, but I don't think the woman deserves as much hate as you give her.
I hate her with like a newfound passion.
As much as I.
So do you hate her as much as lefties hate Tony Blair?
No, worse.
Oh, okay.
I'd say I'm like more visceral. When I really, really, really set my mind on hating something, I can't. Like it almost consumes me.
So,
She's one of those people that she's
I
like
don't understand why you hate her so
because
much.
she represents. As I said, it's more like it's not her personally per se. It's more like the fact that she represents everything that's wrong with this country.
I mean, like, Jada Franson. I mean, like, Cameron sort of has a dual crush on Jada Franson and Lauren Southern.
No,
It's a weird far right. It's a weird far right triangle.
No.
When they go back
Lauren
in
Southern strategy.
I can't honestly. That woman, she just embodied everything that was wrong with the entire referendum, the campaign, the hatred afterwards, the
But she's not from this country.
disgusting,
She's
fake,
Canadian.
blonde, black-rooted attitudes that we
But-
have. Well,
but-
I don't care. I hate her. All right.
Hey, it's
I
just
mean-
strong words. Anyway, I got the article you sent me now. I got it up.
All right.
Britain uses medical contracts as EU body anticipates Brexit. European Medicines Agency ends pharma evaluations work and moves contracts to the bloc. Let's both start this, right? Are we actually leaving the European Medicines Agency?
I think. Well, this is a little bit separate to that. So, like, even if we do, they have decided to sort of move anyway, kind of thing. This is like a separate sort of thing.
Well, if it is, or if it's not, it's obvious that's going to happen. It's with if we leave or not. All right, Britain's involved in evaluating new medicines for cells for patients across the EU has collapsed, as no more work could for Europe because Brexit has emerged. The decision by the European Medicines Agency got Britain out of its contracts 7 months ahead of Brexit is devastating to the British paracetamol companies are already reeling from the loss of EMA's HQ London with its now jobs. All drugs sold in Europe have to go through a lengthy email authorization process for use by health services. But the Mental Health Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA, in Britain has built a leading role in its work, with 20 to 30% assessments in the EU. The MHRA won 2 contracts this year with EMA. So the work is now off limits. We cannot allow EMA to allocate the work for new drugs because the expert has to be available for the evaluation period that could take years to support them. So it could be uncertainty as well.
Yeah.
Right, in a devastating second blow, existing contracts that with the MHRA are also moving to block members. Morton McKee, the professor of European health at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, has given evidence to select committees about Brexit. said it was a disaster for the MHRA, Chad. About 40 million from the EMA. Head of British pharmaceutical industry said it was akin to watching a British success story being broken up. Mike Thompson, the chief executive of the association, said clearly we've all been incredibly proud of the MHRA's role over the last 3 years. They established themselves as one of the most respected regulators across all Europe and industry. It has been a big success story. The EMA said that because a long lead time involved in assessing medicine, it could be no longer award the lead contract to the British people, since there is no guarantee that they will be part of the EU after March 2019. It is understood that the MHRA bid for 36 EMA contracts this year, but only won 2, and these for drugs which evaluations may be done.
Mm-hmm.
The situation in the stark contracts 2016, where UK was the lead assessor, known as the rapporteur on 22 applications, and was a joint lead and a co-rapporteur on 19 multinational applications. This made it number 1 in Europe, with Germany's regulator behind with 22 lead contracts and 12 co-contracts. The EMA now also requires all existing drug assessors to transfer their personal knowledge, special fields in counterparts in European state. You might have been working on a cancer drug for decades, also much expertise, but you're absolute specialist in your field now. Transfer your working knowledge to someone else. It's like handing your baby and source to EMA. Thompson suggested the removal of MHA approval system was the EU's loss, and the MHA will further manufacturing inspections to the patient safety has picked up 1/3 of adverse events, he said. This is a free element regulator as a part of the withdrawal agreement. The EU regulator, they said they will just be an observer in that system. Or was it? Or was it now?
Oh, I don't know, but I think you probably got like everyone's got the gist of it anyway. If you just want to skim through the rest of it, and then
Yeah, it's basically saying the same thing. After all. Yeah, we got a better gist.
yeah, just skim through it. Like basically, because I think this goes hand in hand with the reason why this has been published as well is because obviously we lost. There was, well, or at least there was this big sort of drama about like the medicines agency, and then this, yeah, you might want to read like that bit actually, the bit that you've highlighted. But I just
MHR statement said,
yeah,
we want to maintain a close working partnership with the EU, so patients continue to have time access to medical advice. This is what making sure regulators continue to work together as the regulators internationally, and we will have to explore the EU terms which the UK could continue to participate in the EMA. Now, I was going to say, always actually leaving the European medicines industry or not?
I didn't think that we were going to. I'm not quite sure. I need to do a little bit more reading up on the whole thing. But losing those contracts and stuff as far as jobs and stuff like that, and for them to want to actually give them elsewhere is still not good news. It's not like one of those things which is, you know, you can't like turn around and spin it and be like, oh well, that's great. This is a bad, a negative.
From reading it, it looks like it's not because we leave it necessarily, it's because of uncertainty. What's
Well,
like? I feel like Bruce medicine is going to be disturbed because we're in the EU.
yeah,
Not necessarily whether in the EU or not, just uncertainty.
well,
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right in some ways. It's probably more to do with a lot of the uncertainty than anything else, but that's still quite a big loss. Like, if you know, it's not like none of this stuff should be celebrated. I don't like to hear these twists on stuff saying, oh well, let them go, it's fine, everything, you know, it's great. The fact that we've losing thousands of jobs and that they're relocating elsewhere, despite the fact that often the places they're fleeing to have higher corporation tax, which is ironic.
Well, that Patel is wrong. That your corporate tax will encourage you to invest. Whatever the spell of this, the companies been in this country for years, long before Brexit. But when there's a lot of controversy, remember about Kit Kat moving to Europe, was it? So like Latvia or Estonia, so one of those countries, and that was before the Brexit. So this has always been the case that companies flee this country because we're not that competitive. It's always been the case.
But this is directly linked to.
I know.
Like
Project Fear. Ramona's. Traitors.
Sound
bites.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
Farage.
Yeah, look. If it has been explicitly said that there is a direct link between Brexit and this, then it's time that people face it. It's not, you know, I've actually had enough of this whole ludicrous sort of terminology of, oh, you know, it's just scaremongering and Night Maven,
Ramona.
catch you later. But you know, you do have to own it at some point, Cameron. You know, it is going to have that sort of knock-on effect, and there's only so much like of this ridiculous claim of, oh, it's all scaremongering, and you know, or what's the other jingoistic catchphrase that they like to use?
Project Fear.
Oh yeah, that.
Well, let me say this: 60% of what we get is fearmongering. 4% is legitimate concerns. 1% is legitimate concern. But in terms of our research versus it's only true that we could pivot future imports away from Europe towards maybe import benefits from the United States or create or bully Britain, do ourselves. So I honestly look at it's being concerned to lack of planning, like a foresight rather than good. That's what I see the biggest issue. Of course, if you do the EU benefits, we could expect things to move away from Europe. But I'm certain actually they're quite big in places like in Turkey. I think they do operate like in Turkey. Norway.
Yeah, I mean.
So I have to look at if actually leaving it.
Potentially, but then I just the more I see of this, the less it sort of. Basically, it's not reassuring. It's the opposite.
Well, look, nothing's going to research. You know why? Because we don't know what we're doing. And then we don't.
No, and it seems like a bunch of like headless chickens just run it. Like,
yes, but no one say, right, we've got these issues. How do I want to solve it? And they're just letting it happen. This is why I've got this issue where we are.
But sovereignty.
Oh, and fish.
Yes, fish.
Yeah, I don't want to get this off. I can't.
Cameron annoyed when we go.
Blue passports.
Oh no! Apparently, we could have had those the entire time, so that's actually not even a thing.
But the passport is blue.
But most people that even want blue passports, A, could have had them the entire time, and B, probably don't have one anyway. So,
the passport is a false issue because nobody cares about passports. Really, in reality, ask the average person in the street about the passport and they say, "I don't care."
I don't know, Cameron. I reckon some people honestly do.
Well, or some people do, but it's a really, really small vocal minority.
This is a quick question. Why is John's new picture a picture of a squirrel?
It's a black squirrel.
Oh yeah. Because Blood Velvet, which he didn't like my dotted eye thing, so I figured, I'll change it just into something a bit more, probably more appealing, like a squirrel. But since I'm in Hertfordshire, there are certain areas in Hertfordshire like Letchworth, Baldock, and Hitchin that have black squirrels. So I thought I'd take a picture of a black.
I've never seen a black squirrel. All right.
Neither have I. No.
Fair enough. Well, we have them here in the UK, so let's see. We have them here down in Hertfordshire. So if you ever feel like visiting Hertfordshire, you get at least one unique animal, and that is the black squirrel.
Okay. If I come to Hertfordshire, can you just at least keep me away from like the gammons?
The issue of Hertfordshire, it's full tourists. It's like good old South Yorkshire.
Oh yeah, it's full of Tories and full of Brexit shitholes.
Oh dear.
Granted, some of them I think were very close. I mean, I think there were like 52% leave and 48% remain.
What I will say though is, even though, I mean, with Brexit so-called shitholes, I don't mind them typically, but Tory shitholes, nah, I can't accept that.
But Tory shitholes are often Brexit shitholes. That's the whole difference.
No,
Well, true, but not always. Like Philip Hammond, well, actually, no, that was leave by about 0.1%.
Like really, yeah, it's really good.
No, Sue Breeze is leave. What Tory MPs in the Remain constituency? There's got to be one. Got to be one.
You got
Kenneth Clark. I don't know. That's a guess.
But he's leave.
Let's see.
I'm surprised about that one.
Let's see from what I can. Let's see. Can't recall.
I'm gonna.
I used to.
I think.
We'll say Stevenage sometimes has a Labour MP. Heck, it was the closest constituency to nearly getting one during the last election, and the Welland Hatfield constituency had at least 2 different Labour MPs from like different points of
Chelsea and Fulham
history.
in Remain, and that's Tory, I think.
Maidenhead Remain.
No, I think Maidenhead's leave.
Alright.
Alright, Elgin, here we are.
Yeah. So the best Brexit shitholes are obviously the Labour ones, then, aren't they?
Oh, Battersea, Jane Ellison. Battersea, well, actually, no, Battersea's gone Labour now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Putney, yes, Putney. Tory shithole, but it
Remain.
voted 73% Remain.
Yeah, but Putney's London, like, you know, like that. You have to understand that London, like, will be Remain central, like it just is.
Okay, here's a better example then. Bath, Ben Howard, overwhelmingly Remain, but it's a Tory shithole.
But Bath has 2 MPs. Which one of them?
Just the one on here that says Bath. And that literally all it just says is Bath.
Vera Hobhouse, right?
No, Ben Howard. I'll go on his name and see if that helps it. What the fuck? Oh, wrong one. I came across the footballer for some reason. I don't know why.
Bath was Remain.
Oh wait, he's lost his seat to the Lib Dems. Okay, so it's not Tory shithole anymore.
It's Vera Hobhouse, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is Vera Hobhouse. So it's not Tory shithole anymore.
Which means alright.
Okay, more clear-cut one. St Albans, Tory shithole, but it voted Remain.
What is St Albans?
Constituency in east of England. Oh, look at that, Hertfordshire.
Huh? Hertfordshire. Let me take a look. Wait, which consistency did you say again?
St Albans. No, Enfield, Southgate's London, so I can't include that.
According to this article, Brexit cost the Conservatives their majority solely.
Nah, don't believe that. The only reason why people still vote Tory is because of Brexit.
There's no real reason why they would otherwise. I mean, they're just appalling.
I mean, oh yeah, I'm pretty certain. Let's see. There was no way the campaign of Mayor. Heck, it might have even cost them more votes that they could have gotten. But hey.
If there's one thing I agree with Stizer on, it's that when Brexit is done and dusted, Tories will probably be also done and dusted.
Voters in region critical to Tory election victory swing against Brexit, poll claims. Let's have a look.
I don't believe that.
I do.
Hmm?
The English region that could be crucial to a Conservative election victory and backed leaving the European Union in 2016 has swung against Brexit to support Remain, according to a new poll.
Which election are they talking about? 2015 or 2017? Because if they say 2015, then I'll agree with them.
2017.
Okay, then I don't agree with them.
But what they've said is it has since swung. And he says, a YouGov survey, which remember is pro-Tory, a YouGov survey shows that the people in the southwest now oppose the UK's departure amid the chaos of the negotiations and the mounting prospect of a no-deal Brexit.
Okay.
I think the point I'm disagreeing with is basically the idea that that Brexit was the reason why Tories were successful in 2017.
Uh-huh.
I simply don't believe that.
What else do you think that made them, let's see, getting more enough seats, out of curiosity?
Fear of Corbyn government, and that basically is the main reason for it. Because if you look at the breakdown of why people voted Tory, it was like, number one, hate Corbyn, number two, Brexit.
All right.
Oh, Christ.
What the fuck?
What is that?
I have no idea.
We've got 3 people watching. I wonder if it's all of us here at the moment.
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up and then we can just go into the off-air hangout.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. It's been going on for long enough.
Well, fair enough. Well, I've learned something today that there was at least one Hertfordshire area that voted Remain, but hey.
Yeah, that's what we've learned today. St Albans in Hertfordshire voted Remain.
Alright. Can't think of it. Is that... No, yeah, but yeah.
Okay, Cameron's PC is dying. So I'm going to wrap it up for him. In which case, cheers everyone. Cameron, are you still here? As in, can you talk, or is it kind of dying? I think it might just be dying.
Cameron has to end the stream because he's the one who started it.
Okay. Cameron, you can end the stream now. Just going to say bye to everyone, and if you want to join us on the off-air constant bullet chat, hang out.
I'm here.
Okay.
Good. Yeah.
I'm just telling if there is anyone around, I will put the link in the bullet chat and stuff. I've already linked it to you guys, and obviously Matt Hancock's in here.
Okay. For me, I'm probably just going to be sorting out stuff. I'm just probably going to be like preparing myself for bed and all that.
So basically, right? But I had to restart PC. Now why? No, put it on sleep and take it off sleep. For some reason, I made in this hangout without it to restart. And I tried to drop my phone in the meanwhile to warn you because the stream died. I made a weird sound.
That's weird.
It is weird because normally it takes me off the house where I put my passwords. Anyway, right. I'll have to say thank you to everyone watching. I think Shafted is still in the side chat fighting out. So I say thank you to Shafted. I think we can go on a little bit towards the end. Let's talk about these town council being them. So I say thank you to Shafted. So thanks to Angels, John Cooper, and Thomas Williams, and Gerald, who was here for a short period of time, and Stephen, who was also here. I got edit now. Really interesting stream. So
yeah,
I probably do one shortly again.
So obviously it was, particularly fun considering we had lots of, on their time off. We had the Prime Minister popping in. We had the
US President.
Tony Blair.
Yeah.
Tony Blair.
Donald Trump.
Eric Pickles. Dropped him. It was quite a mixed bag, but yeah.
Also,
All right.
Yeah. Also, my PC died at the end. Again.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. Cheers, guys, and thanks for having us, Cameron.
See you, people.
I'll see you on the other side on the off-air hangout.